Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we'll be going over a situation where a VTuber is being canceled and attacked for not wanting to be political. In fact, we're gonna look at some other VTubers attacking this individual, calling them a coward. This person being, this VTuber in question, an active US military member. Now, before we get into this whole situation, it feels like it's 2020 all over again with these ridiculous cancellation campaigns. You guys know I've been dealing with it myself the past week or so. I talked about it yesterday, and I just want to say thanks for the crazy amount of support, whether it's the super thanks or the crazy amount of new patrons. I'm going to put a link to this in the pinned comment. I'm working on my page. I'm reworking some things, and I cannot believe the amount of support I've gotten. I appreciate it so much. But let's get back into the content for today. So the VTuber in question here is Tomo Umari. They're a military tomboy horse girl VTuber. Wow. Sign me up. That sounds pretty interesting. And of course, they are a patriotic one. Again, as I said, they are active military. So it kind of fits with their life as well. Now, she made some tweets recently, earlier this month, saying, I feel like I must reiterate this. I'm not interested in associating with politics as a VTuber. Yes, I love my country. No, I don't care to discuss politics. Saying this probably won't stop the nut jobs who keep trying to spark political debates under my whimsical posts, but alas. Okay, this used to be a very normal thing. A VTuber saying, I don't want to be political. That was like the norm for so long, but now the narrative has shifted on Twitter where people are demanding VTubers like this speak out about every political issue out there. Otherwise, they're problematic, they're a coward, what have you. Now, here is the antagonist of today's video, this Moemi individual who was very upset seeing these posts. They had a complete meltdown making this post saying, another day as a morally neutral and innocent nationalist. And then they say, turn this industry plant horse into glue. I'm so for real. So what they're trying to imply here, and I think it's clear as day, is that she should be offed because she doesn't want to engage in politics on her VTuber related account. This is completely unhinged, and we're going to talk about kind of the intent of posts like this. I think it's one thing if someone's joking about this, like who's in her community and clearly likes her, versus someone like this who's unhinged and clearly really doesn't like her and has been obsessing over her for quite some time at this point, at least weeks, maybe even months. And of course, the comments were shredding this individual at the time because, first of all, they're Canadian. And as pointed out here, yeah, I don't think a country that relies entirely on the United States for its defense should be barking up that tree, son. Communist when someone doesn't feel obliged to be political online, F you in your struggle sessions. Leave country crying about the best country, once again, pay no attention here. And it goes on and on, you get it, right? People are not really too impressed with this whole situation here, but the struggle session would continue with this clip from their recent stream.
Influencers deserve to and should speak on topics that affect them. Fence sitting is cringe and actually is harmful. Yeah, but they don't see it as that because, again, fence sitting is what gets these people money. If you fence sit, you will get money. Why would anyone want to hear the harsh reality of the world when you could plug up your ears like a coward? Which Tomo is. Tomo is a coward. Just want to make that abundantly clear. So you become a coward. You don't want to challenge any ideas. You don't want to stand up for anything. And you get people like you see in that reply section. And you see how she replies to other people. She's a clown. She's a clown. And she's my personal jester at this point. She's getting dog-dicked by a Canadian that put her shit to light again. And everyone is rightfully criticizing her. Someone said she doesn't deserve hate. She's not getting enough. Because I think that's a miserable person hiding behind her flag, and she's using it more as a shield than something to be actually patriotic about.
Ooh, shiver me timbers. This VTuber's really taken off the gloves and, well, just showing how unhinged they are. They're basically saying that Tomu should get more hates, which is a very nice thing of them to say absolutely unhinged. And also they go through this whole struggle session calling her a coward. Dude, she's an active service member. You're calling that person a coward because they don't want to express political beliefs or be pressured into doing so on their VTuber related account. You think this is like going to save lives or something? It's the most ridiculous virtue signaling. And we all know with these individuals, when they want you to speak up about a topic, you know what they mean. Either you agree with what I believe in my entire agenda, or say something different, I'm going to harass you. It's clear as day. And this person believes she deserves more harassment. So yeah, like that's not too much of a big extension here. But Tomu would make a sort of follow-up to everything saying, this is the last time I'll hopefully ever have to speak on it, but please stop saying this person needs to say something. Nobody owes you anything, regardless of what you may believe. Let content creators make the content they want to make in peace. I think it's that simple. If you want to twist this message into me being the bad guy that deserves to die because I know some of you will, or whatever, then sure, go ahead. I'll continue offering a chill space for my community where they can take a break from all of the hecticness in the world, which I think is a very fair take, but of course, someone disagreed. Return of the antagonist here, making a YouTube video with the caption, "Silence is compliance." Wow. Like I said, guys, we're back in 2020. Like I am feeling the shift. People are starting up these cancellation campaigns. They're forcing you to speak on the current thing. And if you don't, or you give the wrong answer, they're going to harass you endlessly and try to cancel you in every way possible. And you can see the caption here, a performative patriot, coming from this person who clearly is not serving in any sort of a way. Like it seems a bit odd to call someone a performative patriot. Are you implying that they're not a patriot? It just doesn't make any sense. But let's hear what this person has to say in their latest struggle session.
Accountability and responsibility does not exist in current day content creation. Instead, nowadays we have content creators doing anything and everything to make sure they get as much money as possible from every single viewer. Tomo Umari is not an exception to any of this. A perpetual victim and coward who constantly hides behind her flag and her country to avoid any responsibility for anything she says or does. Despite LARPing as a military patriot who's adamant about being apolitical, she's most notable for her takes such as,
"They're trying to hide the truth from us, but we know the truth, and we will fight for this truth until the bitter end." So yes, horses for everybody. Canada will be deleted promptly. That goes without saying. We need to make sure that happens fast. We need to strike them when they least expect it. We need to basically sucker punch them and drain them of their resources and then cut them off completely.
Now, it may come as a shock to you, but this video is not being well received, with about a 75% dislike ratio. It's very interesting to see this person's intro here, where they're talking about someone doing anything and everything to try to get more money or more engagement. Like this is the definition of doing that. Picking fights with larger content creators to hope to get some traction. Well, it's not working. Like, I hope you enjoy the 3 people seal clapping your performative nonsense in the comments. That's not going to help you do anything, okay? This is a weird fight to start. It seems hyper-focused on this individual for some reason. I don't know what this person did to upset this person so much. But yeah, they're going through and showing examples of this hateful behavior. It's very obvious jokes about Canada. Like, what do you mean? Are we going to be serious for just a second? And they're going to now turn around and try to compare her reaction to people making the glue factory jokes in her own community versus him doing it. Yeah, there's a difference, but let him try to explain this one.
Yet when a Canadian VTuber decides to make a joke about a fictional horse girl turning into glue, that's a step too far. Even going so far as going on her Twitter to declare that it was death threats made against her. Yet when she rightfully pisses people off, this is what she has to say.
Maybe I'm just insensitive. Maybe my sense of humor doesn't jive with a lot of people. That's probably not it. I think I just keep attracting some really dainty fellas that do not take jokes very well. Maybe I need to put a disclaimer in all of my shorts that says hey, this is a fucking joke, stop getting upset, please. I don't understand the point of getting mad at a VTuber joke of all things, you know? Like, that's like such a weird battle. Horse girl getting sent to the glue factory. The f you mean? What did I do? What did I do?
You're more than willing to giggle like an idiot at the same joke I made. The only difference is that it was made by one of your chatters. It's incredibly hypocritical and pathetic to be offended at the same shit that you do constantly. I'm sorry you're so dainty. The funniest thing is that this spawned simply because of a JJK meme, and I thought it was perfectly applicable to her. It took me a grand total of 5 minutes to make this. Here's another one that took me 5 minutes to make. This summarizes the average Tomo fan.
Whoa, guys. When they made that post, what they said or the message that was trying to be conveyed, it didn't matter because they made it in under 5 minutes. Yeah, that's how this works. If it doesn't take you very long to do something or say something, it's not that serious, bro. Here's the difference. When her community is making these jokes, it's clearly in jest. They don't actually hate her or wish any harm. This person, on the other hand, this person does not like her and is very hostile and aggressive towards her and is implying many awful things, claiming she's like some horrible, awful person and her community is filled with all of these terrible, awful, despicable human beings. So when you're doing these quote-unquote jokes, it's not landing the same, and no, she should not receive it the same way. I also find this whole situation very weird, where this person's like, you need to say something. You're coming across a woman who's saying she's uncomfortable and doesn't want to do something, and you're telling her, no, you have to do it, or I'm going to insult you and berate you and slander you. Very weird stuff, but here's kind of the end of the video. It's not very long in total here, but this is the closing statement from this individual.
You can't even muster up the courage to say that you don't want your country to murder its civilians. It's not a political take to have empathy for your countrymen. You use your platform to be an ignorant airhead, and you are arrogant in that nothing you say will matter for you. You don't use your community or platform to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, or provide for the common defense. The oath you promised to uphold when you started to serve your country has now become obsolete in the grand scheme of things. You watch as your government continues to beat down and kill your civilians, and still you say nothing. And still, you do nothing. If you wish to be an actual patriot, you would stand with your countrymen.
People gotta use their platforms to ensure justice and domestic tranquility. Amazing stuff. Countless lives were just saved in this moment. You know, I think it's a bit crazy of a concept, but some people like to watch VTubers to escape all these things that are thrown in their face all day long. And some people just want to enjoy a VTuber without having to see that VTuber be forced or have their arm twisted into making statements, because people like this feel so entitled to these statements. They are demanding people like this speak on whatever they want. And again, when they speak, it's not just, oh, they're going to speak their opinion and it'll be respected. No, it's like you have to agree and align with everything the demanders want, otherwise they're going to harass you even further. It's really just kind of a trap at that point. But yeah, nobody was buying any of this. You can see some of the quotes saying this was the rat I've been alluding to this whole time. Used to follow him till he turned out to be such a hateful person that hates anyone that doesn't 100% line with his ideology. Imagine being such a miserable loser that you make it your mission to force an active serving member of the military to make a public political statement to fit your personal moral agenda. And also, by the way, there are a lot of restrictions in your oath as an active military member that restrict what you can say on social media when it comes to politics. Why would someone who already doesn't want to make their streams political bend the knee to people like this and threaten the possibility of punishment on themselves for doing so? Crazy stuff. Absolutely entitled. And also keep in mind, in the post sharing this video, they locked the replies, and the only reply on there is themselves sharing this meme that they also shared in the video as well. Completely ridiculous. They know exactly what they're doing here. But the comments are savage. Okay, dang dude, just condemned his fate at becoming a successful VTuber. You are so desperate for views that you lied and took a joke videos out of context to slander Tomu. I I genuinely think you deserve nothing but suffering and harassing and the threats to Tomu because she isn't willing to break the oath she swore to uphold whatever on active service. Cost you nothing to hate on another VTuber, and yet you still want to instigate stuff. Love how you blocked comments on the thread and dismissed quote retweets, all to slam one of the least problematic VTubers rather than some truly controversial ones. Such brave, much stunning. Wow, very expository. Bro, this is one of the biggest nothing burgers. Why do you even gotta drag this drama on even longer? And that's the crazy thing. Like, why are you even dragging this on? And there was one quote I saw that I think is important. This person who has me blocked, and I would imagine doesn't agree with me on many things, but I can agree with their statement here and respect where they're coming from. They say, my country, Minneapolis, is not your personal Hogwarts legacy. We don't want coerced solidarity. And you can't use your straw man on me. I'm not a Tomu fan. I'm trans. I'm unabashedly anti-ICE. And I've been protesting in Minneapolis at the Whipple building. Please, STFU. They won't. And obviously all this stems from the recent stuff involving ICE, which, I've seen my own insanity involving that. If you dare to go against any sort of a narrative, or you, in this case, don't want to speak in any sort of volume, you still get harassed. This whole thing is completely ridiculous. Sorry this individual has to go through this for simply wanting to entertain people and not drag in politics, and also to do their duty to their country without risking it to appease to weirdos on social media. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.